That morning felt completely ordinary. A quiet winter sunrise in Patagonia. Parents prepared for another normal day. Coffee brewed. Doors opened. Life continued. In Pico Truncado, nothing seemed wrong. Until one family received unimaginable news. A daughter would not be coming home. Silence replaced routine across the town. Questions arrived before answers ever could. Two men would soon face suspicion. And a family's world changed forever. How does a normal night end like this? Johana Casas grew up in Pico Truncado, a small town shaped by wind and oil fields. Everyone knew each other by name. Families watched children grow together. She was born on a winter morning, just minutes before her twin sister, Edith. Two daughters arriving almost as one. Their bond began from the very first breath. Even after their parents separated, both remained deeply present in their lives. Home stayed filled with laughter and routine. Family always came first. The twins looked almost identical. Same smile. Same voice. Same gentle expressions. Teachers sometimes confused them at school. Even relatives mixed them up. They shared friends, secrets, and dreams. If one felt sad, the other sensed it. During Edith's childhood illness, she called out only for Johana. As they grew older, differences appeared. Johana loved attention and bright colors. She enjoyed fashion and creative expression. She practiced makeup like an art form. Edith preferred quiet moments and reflection. She listened more than she spoke. Together, they balanced each other perfectly. Johana dreamed beyond the town limits. She walked in local fashion shows. She traveled to larger cities confidently, eventually earning beauty queen recognition. Photos captured her radiant confidence. Always smiling. Always carefully prepared. She never left home without getting ready. Presentation mattered deeply to her. Friends remembered her energy. Family remembered her warmth. She made small moments feel special. She was the kind of young woman who turned ordinary days into celebrations. Life in Pico Truncado moved slowly. Morning routines rarely ever changed. Neighbors greeted each other by name. Familiar faces filled every street corner. The town followed a steady rhythm. Workdays ended with simple gatherings. Friends met in cafes and bingo halls. Nothing ever felt truly unpredictable. It was inside one of those halls that Johana met Victor Singolani. A casual glance became a conversation. A conversation quickly became a connection. Young romance felt natural then. Messages arrived late into the night. Plans were made without hesitation. They spent weekends with shared friends. Her family accepted the relationship, even with the noticeable age difference. They believed she was happy, and happiness felt like enough. Photos showed smiling outings together. Ordinary moments, ordinary young love. No urgency. No visible fear. Just another couple in a small town. From the outside, everything seemed calm. Nothing suggested deeper tension beneath. No one imagined future complications. If there were warning signs, they blended into everyday life. Over time, small changes appeared. Nothing dramatic at first glance. Just moments people quietly noticed. Arguments began happening more often. Family members sensed rising tension. Voices carried through closed doors. Apologies followed soon after. Johana tried to keep peace. She avoided long conversations about problems. Friends noticed mood swings sometimes. But young relationships often feel intense. Eventually, Johana and Victor separated. The breakup seemed calm publicly. Life appeared to move forward normally. Then something unexpected happened. Victor grew closer to Edith instead. The shift confused people around them. Emotions became quietly complicated. The twins handled it carefully. They spoke openly before anything began. Johana said she understood the situation, but their closeness slowly changed. Shared friends divided into groups. Daily routines no longer overlapped. Conversations became shorter between sisters. Distance replaced constant togetherness. Soon, both followed separate paths. Johana entered a new relationship. His name was Marcos Diaz. At first, he appeared attentive, always nearby. always checking in. Messages arrived constantly on her phone. Questions about where she was going. Questions about who she met. Questions that never fully stopped. Friends noticed growing pressure. He disliked her going out alone. Plans often required his approval. Jealousy slowly shaped daily life. Still, Johana tried making it work. She believed commitment required patience. 6 months passed quickly together. Then they moved in together. The decision surprised her family. It felt sudden to those watching. Concern quietly began to grow. Phone calls home became less frequent. Visits happened less often too. Her world seemed smaller somehow. Meanwhile, Victor reappeared nearby. Old emotions resurfaced in familiar ways. Connections between everyone grew tangled. From the outside, nothing looked alarming. No one predicted lasting consequences. Just complicated young relationships unfolding. At the time, these changes seemed personal, not dangerous. July 15, 2010 began normally. Winter air settled over Pico Truncado. Night arrived quietly across the town. Johana prepared to go out that evening. Music and friends waited at a party. She attended with her partner, Marcos. Witnesses later remembered her smiling. Nothing appeared wrong at the time. Hours passed without concern or urgency. Laughter filled the crowded gathering space. People slowly began leaving after midnight. Around 3 in the morning, Johana was seen leaving the party. She walked out beside Marcos Diaz. It was the final confirmed sighting. Streetlights reflected along empty roads. Cars disappeared into the cold darkness. The town returned to silence again. Shortly afterward, one last message appeared. Simple words sent from her phone. No sign of fear or distress. After that moment, silence followed completely. No replies came back again. Her phone activity suddenly stopped. Sometime before sunrise, tragedy unfolded. Johana was taken to an isolated area. She was shot twice that night. She died before morning arrived. At dawn, a local resident discovered her body. She lay in an open field outside town. Authorities quickly secured the location. News spread faster than confirmation. Neighbors stepped outside, whispering quietly. Confusion replaced ordinary morning routines. Parents called their children repeatedly. Crowds gathered near familiar streets. Shock moved through the community. The Casas family faced unbearable reality. Hope turned into devastating certainty. A daughter would never return home. From that moment forward, Pico Truncado would never feel the same. Mourning quickly turned into investigation. Police vehicles filled quiet streets. Officers began asking urgent questions. 2 names surfaced almost immediately. Both men had known Johana closely. Both had shared recent relationships with her. Investigators examined personal history first. Who argued with her recently? Who saw her last that night? Who had reason to feel anger? Attention focused on familiar faces. Marcos Diaz and Victor Singolani. Both were brought in for questioning. Interviews lasted for hours. Timelines were carefully reconstructed. Every detail suddenly mattered. One question guided everything. Who was last with Johana alive? Testing began soon afterward. Investigators searched for physical clues. Samples were collected and analyzed. Specialists examined possible residue traces. Early reports suggested important findings. Particles linked to firearm discharge appeared. Attention shifted strongly toward Victor. But certainty remained unclear. Forensic science can be complicated. Investigators use chemical swabs on hands. They search for microscopic particles. These particles appear after firearms discharge. But residue travels easily between surfaces. Vehicles, clothing, or shared spaces transfer particles. Even casual contact can create traces. Improper handling risks contamination. Without strict protocols, results become questionable. Tests indicate possibility, not absolute proof. A positive result raises suspicion. It does not confirm responsibility alone. Investigators now faced uncertainty. Were the findings meaningful or misleading? Attention returned to timelines. Victor described his night carefully. He claimed visiting a casino earlier. Later, he stayed at a friend's home. Detectives checked surveillance cameras. They reviewed receipts and witness statements. Some details aligned with his account. Other moments remained unverified. A gap appeared in the timeline. Minutes without confirmation raised concern. One question lingered heavily. Could anyone confirm his exact location? Meanwhile, another development shocked investigators. Marcos Diaz suddenly left town. Messages from his phone stopped completely. Communication ended without explanation. Friends noticed sudden silence. Family members could not reach him. His disappearance deepened suspicion. Why leave during an investigation? Why stop communicating entirely? Authorities issued search efforts quickly. Months passed before he was located. The investigation grew more complicated. Then new evidence emerged. Items recovered near the location were analyzed. A cigarette and personal belongings were examined. Laboratories compared genetic material carefully. Results linked Marcos to the area. The discovery shifted investigative momentum. Attention turned strongly toward him. But investigators needed certainty. DNA testing compares biological markers. Each person carries a unique genetic pattern. Even small samples can reveal identity. In rural regions, preservation becomes challenging. Weather and time degrade evidence quickly. Proper collection determines reliability. A confirmed match suggests presence. But timing still requires interpretation. DNA shows contact, not necessarily actions. Investigators must combine science with timelines. Now the case held competing theories. Residue findings pointed one direction. DNA evidence pointed another direction. Two suspects. Two narratives. One unanswered truth. Detectives re-examined every relationship detail. Phone records were reviewed repeatedly. Witness statements were compared again. Each discovery created new questions. Each answer revealed new uncertainty. The investigation no longer searched only for facts. It searched for consistency. Which story aligned with evidence? Which timeline truly made sense? For the town watching closely, certainty felt frustratingly out of reach. And investigators realized something unsettling. This case would not resolve easily. The deeper they looked, the more complicated everything became. By this point, the investigation narrowed. Two men stood at the center, both once close to Johana. First, Victor Singolani. Charming, confident, socially skilled. He moved easily through small-town circles. Friends described him as persuasive, someone who knew how to win attention. His romantic history complicated everything. He had dated Johana first. Later, he dated her twin, Edith. Then returned to Johana again. Investigators studied that pattern closely. Emotional triangles create tension. Resentment can build quietly over time. In court, family members testified. Her father recalled troubling arguments. Moments that suggested volatility. Stories of heated exchanges. Psychologists often examine attachment styles. Rapid relationship shifts can signal instability. Jealousy can disguise itself as passion. Possessiveness can feel like devotion. Detectives asked a simple question. Was rejection something he handled poorly? Then there was Marcos Diaz. Quieter in public. More intense in private. Friends described him as jealous. He monitored Johana's movements closely. Messages filled her phone constantly. He disliked her independence. Control can grow slowly. Sometimes unnoticed at first. Isolation often follows gradually. His sudden departure raised alarms. Leaving town during scrutiny invites suspicion. Silence can speak loudly. Behavioral analysts consider avoidance carefully. Some flee out of fear. Others flee from guilt. Context matters deeply. In the courtroom, headlines spread widely. Two different personalities on display. Two different narratives competing. Victor appeared composed. Marcos appeared defensive. Both denied responsibility. Both claimed misunderstanding. Investigators stepped back to reflect. Patterns matter more than impressions. History matters more than charm. Was this obsession spiraling out of control? or coincidence shaped by complicated love? The answer would rest with evidence. But psychology framed the stakes. Behind every headline stood one truth. Johana's life had been cut short, and two men remained under intense scrutiny. The case moved from investigation to court. Public attention intensified across Argentina. Families waited for legal clarity. The first trial focused on Victor. Prosecutors presented circumstantial evidence. Residue findings became central arguments. Witness testimony shaped the narrative. Investigators described relationship conflicts. Prosecutors suggested emotional motive. Defense attorneys challenged investigative methods. They argued procedures contained serious flaws. The courtroom listened carefully. Days of testimony followed quietly. Emotions remained tightly controlled. Finally, the verdict arrived. Victor was found guilty. A prison sentence was announced. For many, the case seemed resolved. But the story changed unexpectedly. Over time, Edith reconsidered everything. Grief evolved into doubt and questions. She began believing Victor was innocent. Communications slowly resumed between them. Letters turned into conversations again. Conversations rebuilt emotional connection. Then came a shocking decision. Victor proposed while still incarcerated. Edith accepted the proposal publicly. Media attention exploded worldwide. Headlines spread across international outlets. Crowds gathered outside local offices. On their wedding day, chaos erupted. People protested loudly outside the registry. Police controlled growing crowds nearby. Cameras captured every emotional moment. For Johana's parents, the moment felt unbearable. One daughter lost. Another choosing differently. Meanwhile, legal proceedings continued separately. Marcos Diaz faced his own trial. Prosecutors presented new physical evidence. DNA analysis linked him to the location. Digital behavior strengthened suspicions further. Witnesses described controlling relationship patterns. Family members shared growing concerns. Investigators reconstructed the final timeline. The court reached its conclusion. Marcos was found responsible. Judges determined he acted alone. Suddenly, two convictions existed. Two different courts reached decisions. One case produced conflicting outcomes. Defense lawyers filed immediate appeals. Higher judges reviewed earlier proceedings. Evidence standards were examined closely. Questions emerged about investigative reliability. Testing methods faced renewed scrutiny. Procedural mistakes became impossible to ignore. Then came the legal turning point. The higher court overturned Victor's conviction. Judges ruled evidence was insufficient. He was released from prison. The decision shocked many observers. Relief for some, confusion for others. Two courts, two verdicts, one unanswered question. The legal process had ended, but certainty remained out of reach. Today, Pico Truncado feels quiet again. Wind moves gently through familiar streets. Life continues, slowly and steadily. Years have passed since that winter. Families learned to live with absence. Grief changed shape over time. The Casas family faced deep divisions. Pain created distance between loved ones. Healing followed different paths for each. Edith and Victor eventually separated. Their lives moved in new directions. New relationships began. New chapters opened. The town remembers in silence. Memories linger beneath ordinary routines. A story still discussed in whispers. Investigations seek facts and timelines. But relationships shape every interpretation. Emotions influence how truth is understood. How do complicated relationships affect justice? How much do personal histories matter? And when do warning signs become clear? The most unsettling part was not headlines. It was how signs appeared only afterward. Moments once ignored gained new meaning. Courts delivered legal conclusions. But understanding remains deeply personal. Some questions may never fully rest. Some answers live only in memory. Awareness changes future outcomes. Listening sooner can protect loved ones. Attention can interrupt harmful patterns. One story can teach many families. One lesson can prevent another loss. The town grows quiet as evening falls. The sun disappears beyond the horizon. Fade into silence. Fade to black. If this case held your attention, subscribe to Iman Crime Files for more documented investigations. New cases are uploaded regularly. Most crimes don't begin with violence. They begin with silence.